Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to season 3 of Puseo TV's podcast, ProbandoFuerza. This is your host, Manolo Sanchez, the face of arm wrestling of Puerto Rico and the voice of the sport in Latin America. In this show, I have a very good friend. I've known him for about a little over a year. We've been talking in social media back and forward. He's a great man, a good arm wrestler, Mr. Scott Evans. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing so good. So good. Thank you so much for inviting me on your show, my friend. Thank you. I feel
well. We've been talking about doing this show for a while, right?
Yes. And what I want to say about that is, I felt bad, and I told you were the first one to reach out to me and invite me on a show. Other people did, and then I did the Jody Williams arm talk, and you were the first one before that. So I felt bad that just the timing, how it had worked out. But you were so nice to me that you said, that's okay, no big deal.
Yeah, that's okay. I like when
show.
I like when people, get highlighted, and when arm wrestlers get highlighted by other people, and you got to do whatever you got to do, to get out there. And if people sees you and thinks it's a good idea to have you on their show, you got to take every opportunity. And I'm happy that my friends do good, and seeing you in Jody Williams' show was great. And here you are. We're still doing the show, and we're gonna have a good time, a great conversation, because this show I dedicate to get to know the person. You're an arm wrestler, you're a good arm wrestler, but get to know you, who you are, what do you do, like what do you do for a living, Scott? Tell me where you're from, exactly where you're from.
So I live in northern Utah in the United States, and I'm in the construction field. I wished I could just say all I do is arm wrestling. I wish that was my job. Arm wrestling, that's who I am, that's my job. But the truth is, I have a day job. I work in construction doing tile. I work on commercial projects, and I run a crew, and we install tile on big commercial projects all full-time year-round. So that's what I do. I'm in construction. Working hard, which is a good foundation for arm wrestling, is to, work hard with your hands. So
yeah, every guy I know that's in construction is a really strong arm wrestler.
Yes, you get, and you and I both know, hand and wrist is maybe more important than the arm, or just as important as the arm. And guys that work in construction, they're always getting more grip, getting more strength in their hands, their forearms, and everything, because of the hard labor in construction. And I am a boss, and I lead a crew, but I lead by example. So I work super hard, just as hard as my crew does.
That's nice to hear, because that's a sort of thing that this world has lost. Real leaders. There's bosses and there's leaders. The boss sits down and tells you what to do and just hangs around. Now the leader bleeds with you.
Yes. And
so it's
the
nice.
way my perspective on that is, every day I'm getting paid to train, right? I'm getting paid to get blood flow, get some exercise, get a little bit of tendon pulling and a little bit of muscle, and on the clock while I'm doing it. So I got no heartburn about that.
So you have family, right? How old are you?
Yes. So I am 42 only. However, I started out as a young kid making a family at 17 years old. I have 7 children. Out of those 7, only one of them's a girl. Only one of them's a girl, and 5 out of 7 are grown and moved out. Only 2 left at home. Yeah.
Bro, I'm 43 and I got 2, and one is just today turned 16, my eldest daughter, and my son is 11, and I'm 43.
Yeah, I started
wrong.
No. I started as a child. I started as a young kid making kids and doing all that stuff. So, but my kids, I'm close with all of my kids, and the ones that have grown up and moved out, they moved close to my house, so they're still coming over for Sunday dinner. They're still going hunting and fishing with Dad. In fact, talking about kids, it was one of my sons that got me in arm wrestling. one of my sons got me in arm wrestling. He, about 4 years back, he brought me hey, Dad, look at this. It's a real sport. You arm wrestle everybody all the time. This is a real thing. And he was showing me those YouTube videos because he watched, like, he was following Devin and John Brzenk and those kind of guys. And he showed me, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to sign up right now. And at that time, I didn't know being in Utah was the best place I could be.
Yeah.
Some of the best and most of the best have either been here or are still currently here in Utah. The people I train with, everybody knows who they are. Right now, my training partner is Kody Merrits. And I trained with Jordan Sill, Bob Brown, Justin Green, Robert Baxter. Everybody knows these guys because they're some of the best. Kevin Butts. And John Brzenk used to live here in Utah, and his daughters and his grandchildren still live right here where I live. And so he flies in all the time, which he works for Delta, so he flies free. Smart man. And so he'll come and train with us still. He'll still come to some of our tournaments. And a few years back when he made his comeback, he flew over here and trained. He flew over here, and his first comeback tournament was over here in Utah.
Yeah, man. Living in Utah, that was what I was gonna ask you, because you live in Utah. That's I think John Brzenk is naturally from Utah. He was born there, and all these great guys, Kody and Jordan. And I have friends that, like, my friend Luis from Colombia, when he was
here.
living in the States, yeah, he was he was training with you guys, Luis
Maldonado. He came and trained with my team, and he was very, very strong, but very humble and very kind person, very good man.
Yeah.
One of the best, one of the kindest arm wrestlers I've ever met in my life, whom you're talking about.
Yeah. He's really strong, really humble. His high hook is venom for hookers,
Yes.
So he's a really good, like, to me, in Latin America right now, he's top 10 easily in Latin America. Inside Latin America, he's top 10, maybe top 6.
I believe that without even thinking twice. I believe that.
Yeah, he's a really good arm wrestler. He's a really good person, and I'm glad that we have connected, and we know we have a friend in common right now.
Yes. That is so cool. What a blessing.
That's cool. Yeah, that's what it is. That's a real blessing. Now, you started arm wrestling because your son got you into arm wrestling because of social media and everything. You started training with these guys. I mean, I'm gonna dare to say that the guy that you look up like has a mentor is Robert Baxter, right?
Yes, Robert Baxter is how we were just talking about our mutual friend being a good person. Oh my gosh, Robert Baxter is one of the most wonderful human beings I've ever met in my life, with or without being an arm wrestler. And he just so happens to be one of the best arm wrestlers, world champion. Yeah. And the thing about him, if anybody knows him, they know that he's all about the strap, and he's all about knowing how to utilize the strap into the best advantage that an arm wrestler could pull with the strap. And so I'm so blessed and lucky that I'm learning my strap game from the best strap man, the king of straps, Robert Baxter. Yeah,
bro, I'm gonna say something. Robert is really good at straps, and he's like at the level that Jason Bale was.
Yes.
That's to me, like, these guys in the world are the best 2 strap guys in the whole world.
I agree 100%, my friend. 100%, I agree with you.
It's amazing that you have a chance, to train with him and learn what he does and how he does it.
Well, and for me personally, because I have a thick hand but short fingers, I have to know the strap. Because I'm a top roller. So when I top roll with the top roller and I can't get coverage because I have not very long fingers, us 2 top rollers, we're going to slip and we're going to go to the strap. And since we are going to go to the strap, I better know how to use that thing, right? Yeah. And I'm with the people that have got me to figure that strap out.
I mean, I don't know of any other place right now that would, I would say, like, if you want to go somewhere and learn about the strap, go here. I think
Yeah,
the only place left in the States, it's Utah with you guys.
yeah. And then I always make a joke that's half a joke, and I'm half serious. Is I say we got the holy water right here, the water coming out of the mountains right here. If you drink it, you could be an elite polar. If you drink the water in
Don't
Utah,
tell
you
me
could
that.
be.
I'll just fly up there and drink some water.
I'll send you some water, my friend. I'll put it in the mail. But I make a joke about that because worldwide, I don't think real polars would argue that there's something about the state of Utah. There's something about it. Forget me. Take me out of the picture. There's something about the state of Utah because the best of the best of the best have either been here. I mean, Todd Zilla used to live here. Todd Hutchins used to live
Yes.
here. And John Brzenk, and the ones that are still here, like we just talked about, I don't have to rename them, is like, if you're in this game, you know those names, right?
Yeah. And even this kid, I had him on the podcast. He's right now, he's in El Salvador, doing missions for the church. What's his name? He
Jack,
trained with you guys.
Jack Crucy.
Yeah,
Jack
Jack
Crucy.
Kersey. Yeah, that kid is amazing.
That kid has a strong wrist. That kid has a strong wrist, and he's Kody Merritt's protege. So,
Yeah.
long story short, that's a kid that Kody took under his wing when he was a kid. He was a little kid, and Kody Merritt took him under his wing and has raised him up to be something. And when he gets back from his mission, from serving our church, man, the world better watch out. The world better watch out. I mean,
Bro,
the kid's gonna have
I'm trying
Jesus
to
on
hook
his
him
side.
up. Yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah,
hook him up to have him at least arm wrestle a little down there with my friends, because I know a lot of people from El Salvador that are arm wrestlers, and I almost, he communicates. He has like an email thing that he does every week, and I'm always writing
yeah,
him to him like, bro, whenever you have a chance to arm wrestle, just let me know. I'll hook you up with people down there, just so he can keep active, somewhat active down there,
yeah,
because I know he's
yeah.
that good.
Oh yeah. Oh man, the potential. He's so young, and the future ahead of him in this game, and his foundation of starting out as a young kid and having Kody Merritt be his coach and his trainer and his friend. The kid can't go wrong. The kid can't go wrong. He's just
Yeah,
got nothing but a bright future in the sport.
yeah. Now, Scott, you're
Yeah.
telling me you've been arm wrestling for about 4 years, right?
Oh, almost four, between 3.5
Almost
to
four.
4 years. That's it. But in our sport, you would say that is a brand new guy. But I'm that guy, that brand new guy that hit every tournament I could hit, locally or traveling, and practice 2 to 3 times a week instead of one, and just take it on as a full time, baptized by fire, so to speak. Where even though I've only been in it for that short a time, if you go look at the records that are public, I pulled more tournaments than some guys that have been in the game for 20 years. I've
Yeah.
already pulled like 40 tournaments in that amount of time. And I've already had more super matches. I've lost count, etc. So I'm that guy that got in and went, the best practice is competition, is tournaments, is the real
Yeah.
deal. The real ready go is the best practice.
Yeah, and that's what I want to talk about, your career. Yeah, because not everyone uh being 3 4 years in this sport has so many tournaments on themselves. Now, if you do, that arm wrestler is really good and really strong. And what you're saying, I agree 100%. The best practice is, to be in competition. I mean,
Yes. Yes.
everybody does super matches, but to me, and this is me personally, I believe arm wrestling is arm wrestling tournaments. Super matches are good and fun, but to me, real arm wrestling, it's in the
It's tournament.
tournaments, and that's how
Yeah.
people get good.
Absolutely agree with you. 100% agree with you on that.
So, any recent what has been your recent super matches or tournaments in the last few months?
Well, I'm proud to say that my last tournament I just went to was the Idaho State Championship. Idaho is just above Utah on the map. I traveled up there, and I had one of my best days since I've started. I've had one of my best days on that day. I entered the Masters. I entered the super heavyweights professional right hand, super heavyweights professional left hand. I went undefeated in all three. Undefeated.
Nice.
Champion, Idaho State champion across the board for my weight class, and even the Masters as well. Right
nice,
and left.
Nice. And I mean, and people up there are good, right?
Yes. And a lot of good Utah pullers were there. So I had to run into good Utah guys and good Idaho guys. And there was, to be honest, there was a couple guys in there that over the few years I've never been able to pin. And I pinned them and I won. And it was my day. It was my day.
Good, man. Good. That's
and,
good to hear.
And in my most recent super matches, I've done really good. Being that now I'm on Team Spur, Kody Merrits Team. When you get on his team, he throws you at the bottom of a ranking list, so that if you want to be competitive, you can challenge and try to make it to the top on the list. It's a ranking list. I'm competitive, obviously. That's anybody that's in the sport is competitive, or you wouldn't be in the sport. So I immediately took that and ran with it. And Kody only lets you call out one at a time, one that's ahead of you on that ranking list. So you couldn't per se just call out the number one guy and say, hey, I'm going to challenge you number one and just get number one today. He doesn't let you do that. So I had to run through, I think 11 from where I was. I had to run through 11 guys. And that last guy, of course, was holding number one for the last few years. He was a force to be reckoned with, and I got him. And so right now, currently, I'm number one right hand on Team Spur, Kody's team.
Wow,
yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
And you know, that's motivation that we're just practicing, but those are super matches within the practice time that I take them serious, and so do the guys that want to hold on to the ranking, right?
Yeah, and it's good to have that kind of competition, to have of competitiveness within the team, have a strong team. I mean, how big is that team? How many members do you have?
Okay, so just on that team, just on the one I practice Thursday nights at Kody Merrits, I'm going to say there's around 20 to 25 men and maybe 8 or 9 women. And he does the ranking with the women within the women, and then 20 to 25 guys. Now, that's one team I train with on one night a week. I also train with Bob Brown's team. Everybody knows who Bob Brown is. And I also train with Angela and Patrick Miller. They're Attitude Arm Sports. They're the people who put on the Utah State Championship every year. Speaking of that, in February, I have a super match coming up with Wayne Withers from Mississippi.
Ooh, that's going to be a good one.
You know who that guy is.
Yeah. Yes, I know.
Yeah, I have a super match with that guy, right-handed, best of 5. February 15th, coming right up soon, fast.
Yeah. Where it's going to be in the Utah State Championships?
Yeah, and that's in Ogden at the Eagles. And that's February 15th. And a lot of people come to that. That's kind of a big deal. For Utah,
yeah.
a lot of other states bring their team and come over here. And so Wayne's bringing
that's a big challenge, for you being 4 years into the sport, pulling Wayne Withers in a super match. Well, that's a big challenge.
Well, guess who my first super match was when I was only 2 years in? Robbie Topi.
Jesus.
That was my first super match. I can't talk about who won or lost because it's going to be on television.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's a World Series arm wrestling going to be on Tubi TV on Locked and Loaded. That season 2 hasn't aired yet, so I can't say who won or lost.
Okay, but it's going to be a banger. I believe it's going to be a banger.
No matter who won or lost, it's going to be a banger. Yes.
Yeah. Man, I like this story that you're telling me about how quickly you became good at the sport, and I want people to notice and to realize, people that are watching, that how these men that work in construction or work with their hands are so connected to the sport that even though Scott has put in the work, doing tournaments and training with different teams and a couple of times a week, uh, it's I mean, I know your tendons and your elbows and your wrists, are strengthened because of the hard work you do with your hands. I don't have that advantage. And I think that's it's kind of a phenom. That people
Yeah,
have that.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
don't know if you saw my show with Jerry Calderet, when he was telling me how he developed the flop press when he worked summers doing some things with some tiles that were really heavy, and he used to carry him like that. See
I
how
ha-
that translated into his way of arm wrestling?
yeah, I can't remember that episode. I thought I've seen every one of your shows, but that one I don't think I saw.
That was that
I'll have
was
to
that
go,
was one of the last
but I
shows
will,
of the last season.
but I will go back and watch it. I will go back and watch it.
Well, Jerry was telling me that when he was off college and when he had to work during the summer, he was working construction, picking up some tiles and stuff, and he used to carry them like this.
Yeah,
And that's how he developed that thing he does, you know. And
that
and
flop,
and
that flop,
and
that flop press, that
yeah,
Jerry
that
Merritt
flop
flop press. I love it. I love it.
exactly. And now hearing your story, that you work in construction every day, you run your crew, you work with your guys, and
Yeah,
you're so good at arm wrestling that you're getting big matches with big names in the States. It testifies to the advantage men that work in with their hands have over
yeah,
other people that don't. why
yeah.
why am I talking about this, and why am I mentioning this? Because we got a lot of influencers and bodybuilders coming to the
Oh,
sport, and just
oh,
getting like to the top, like skipping everything and getting to the top because
yeah.
of how they look or because they live heavy,
Right,
but they
right,
don't
right.
have these. I mean, I know guys like you can go and face these influencer guys and beat them easily. But maybe you won't get the chance because that doesn't make a show. But it's the
Right.
difference. Like Devin was telling when he faced Leonidas, there's
Yeah.
levels to this, and we respect what you do and whatever, but you got to respect what we do because there's levels to
Right.
this, and people work hard for this, right?
It amazes me, my friend, the levels in this game. I'm continuing, I'm continuing even now to learn about these levels. And when you get to these levels that are even just outside knocking on the door of the word elite level,
Yeah.
the strength is it's not even human anymore. It's like a demigod kind of strength because they're strong, 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 strong. But in this sport, in this game, you understand exactly what I'm saying, and the people in this game do. The outsiders listening, they don't get it. They won't get it
They
unless
don't.
they play the sport. That the levels all the way from the bottom to the middle to close to the top is so crazy to me how strong a human being can be, even more so than what I thought was strong. What I knew and comprehended as pulling strength, and then you get into the top 5 or the top 10 in the world, North America, whatever. Those guys are on a level that most people could never understand. Even though I'm not on that level, I have a comprehension because I can't right now touch that level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm reaching for that level, and I'm going to do what it takes to see how far my genetic capability will get me as close to that as possible as the years go
Yeah.
by.
And it's something like I learned this in my years in the sport. It's something beyond muscle and tissue,
It is.
you know?
It's tendons and it's bones. And people laugh when I say it's bone strength. They're like, bones don't have strength. And I'm like, you'll learn. Bones have strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And ligaments and tendons. Because before I started in the sport, I used to lift weights a lot before I started in the sport. And I would squat and I would deadlift, and I could lift a lot of weight. I could pick up a lot of weight off the ground. That does nothing to translate to arm wrestling. So when I first started and got on the table and started practicing and jumping right into tournaments, and right out of the gate, I was getting my butt kicked by men way smaller than me. Little guys were whooping on me. I learned, oh, it's not about the same kind of strength. It's nothing to do with being able to pick a car up off the ground. It's nothing. It's nothing like that. And I was lucky and blessed that I met John Brzenk right in the beginning. He flew over here and was practicing with us and coming back to his first tournament back when he came back 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago. I talked to him and he explained to me, well, you can talk to anybody and ask them their opinions, but my opinion is table time, table time, table time. If you want to be a strong arm wrestler, you arm wrestle. Lifting weights is not the same as arm wrestling. Go ahead and keep lifting weights for a foundation of strength, but arm wrestle every chance you get as hard as you can until failure. And that's how you get better at arm wrestling and get stronger.
Yeah, I totally agree with John. And when I started arm wrestling, I didn't like, over here in Puerto Rico, we had a big league back in the 70s, 80s, early 90s. And I found, like, I started arm wrestling during those times, like it was I started when that era was dying out, so I didn't start because I knew John or whatnot. I started because I knew the guys from here that arm wrestling, right?
Yeah.
And that's why they told me exactly. That was what they told me. You want to be good. If you want to be a good basketball player, you got to play basketball. So if you want to be a good arm wrestler, you got to arm wrestle.
It makes sense to me. It makes sense to you. And I tell this to a lot of people, and they tell me, well, my genetics aren't the same as John Brzenk's, blah, blah, blah. And I go, no, you're right. Mine aren't the same as John Brzenk's. Nobody's genetics are the same. You're only going to hit your potential of your blessed genetics. And God will meet you in the middle. Jesus will meet you in the middle. But you have to put in the work to get to the middle. And a lot of people, I'm trying to explain to them, the work is more than you think it is. The work is more than I think it is. Okay, I think I understand the comprehension of how much work I should put in and need to put in and meet God in the middle. It's way more than my own comprehension, but I'm trying. I'm trying to meet him in the middle. We're all God's children, and so I'm not going to pray and say, hey, bless me that I beat my opponent. I'm going to pray before my match and say, please bless me that I compete to my full potential and that he doesn't get hurt or injured and I don't get hurt or injured, et cetera, or everybody involved. But if I'm the one who put in more work than my opponent and I'm asking God for my full potential to be met, I might win. And that's, that's my comprehension of how do I ask to beat my opponent when he's also a child of God, right? I'm a child of God. The difference is, did that child of God, my brother, put in as much work as I did?
That's it. That's right.
That's fair. That's fair perception of competition, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's why I don't like this drama and this trash talking that it's in the community. When they get a super match, they start. I don't like it, because exactly like you say, we are both children of God, and how can I ask God to help me beat my brother? I gotta do the work.
Yeah. I gotta work harder than my brother.
Yeah. Exactly. But being on this topic, the levels in the sport and the table time, at some point when Devin Lard appeared on the scene on YouTube, he started like adding good things to what we already knew. Like, we already knew we had to arm wrestle, and we had to do table time. And at the time, we thought like, okay, I want to be a good arm wrestler. I got to arm wrestle, right? But when Devin appeared, he started showing people how to work out and do lifts, specifically for the sport. And that's the time when I said that Devin Lara turned arm wrestling from a sport into a science, you know.
Yes.
And even though we still have to put the time on the table, those little things that we can do help a lot, you know. Like me, I don't have a big team to help me train, you know. I have a couple of people that train with me, but you know, we get strong by practicing and training as much as we can on the table. But you know, we lift too. We do our lifts, you know, and it complements what we do on the table. And I wanna mention this. Richard Lucas didn't practice a lot, and he was a great arm wrestler, a strong arm wrestler, but he was like at a level, but he couldn't go beyond that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm going to relate that to somebody we both know named Pablo, right?
Yeah.
Pablo is weights. Pablo is in the gym. Pablo is not that much table time. And what he is showing us is, at the end of the day, this is a strength sport. We already knew that. And I'm still set in my ways that it's a strength sport on the table time. But sometimes a guy like Pablo or Richard Lucas can make you second guess that, because those guys are the ones that aren't table time, and they're in the gym going, oh, you're going to try to slip? Well, I'm not going to let you get out, boy. I'm going to hold on to you because I'm so strong, you're not getting away. I'm not going to let you play your technique games because I'm so stronger than you. So I think that there is a balance. There's a balance that we also have to add some weightlifting. We have to add some endurance, strength stuff. But I'm still stuck on that focus of table time. I'm still stuck on that. That is the answer.
But you're right. That's what I'm saying. It's right. It's the right theory. Because even Pablo, he's so strong.
Yeah.
At a certain point, he hasn't passed yet. You know,
because
when he starts like taking it more seriously, and starts doing more table time, he will get through that. But right now, he's like a stand. There's a spot he can go on.
Right. And I see that happening to so many people around me. And I know that's going to happen to me. It's going to. But on where I'm at in my journey, me right now, I'm on that continuing to go this way right now. And I will hit a wall. I'll hit a wall. Everybody hits a wall. But right now, I'm still on those little tiny gains that are climbing the ladder of arm wrestling specific strength. Arm wrestling specific strength.
No, and I'm telling you, I used to be a powerlifter. You know, I had a powerlifting phase, and I was national champion, and I was Pan American champion, and I knew and I know I still know how to get strong powerlifting. You know, but you know, getting strong in arm wrestling is different. It's totally different. And I'm right now, after 27 plus years in the sport. Now it's where I'm starting to like break through and getting to know how to get me stronger in arm wrestling, doing certain lifts and certain stuff. Now, who helped me with this? I've been following Todd Hutchins for a long while, and the way he applies the conjugate method to training for arm wrestling. And there's another guy, another friend of mine from Mexico. His name is Josue Maya. He's also an engineer, and he builds his own stuff, like Todd does. And he explained things to me like you have to be able to measure how much power you have on your rising and how much power you have on your back pressure, and you got to know that number so you can train it specifically on that, and that will get you stronger. And I'm just like breaking through it, like starting to understand that part, and it's actually helping me a little by little on the table, you know. So something new, it's on the rise on related to training for arm wrestling.
I love it. I love it. And everything out of what you just said that I'd like to touch on is the riser. Devin Larratt is considered the best currently. I don't think anybody would argue with the fact that if you want to say right now, in this moment, who's the best arm wrestler? In this moment, it's Devin. Okay, it's Devin Larratt. That's my opinion anyway. He has always brought up the subject of the riser, his emulating stuff, his riser stuff. And I agree. I totally agree. If I have one thing out of 100 things I do that I think I need to always be stronger at that will help me win, is the riser. And you have to remember, I am a top roller, so I'm thinking with the top roller's mind. Is the riser, and you also said back pressure. So if I can combine rising with my hand and my wrist back to my face at the same time as my lat pull, and all in one fluid motion going sideways. And if I'm not strong enough to do that and win, then I'm going to come back up and put my body behind it, and I'm going to press. That's who I am. That's the way I roll. I'm not a hooker by any means, and I don't think I ever will be because I'm tall with a long forearm. So I'm always going to be about leverage. You know how they built the pyramids in Egypt. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm small. I have a short arm. I gotta be a hooker by nature. You know, I cannot top roll to save my life. You know,
and I can't hook. I can't hook to save my life. So that's okay. But
I'm like Todd. I remember Todd Hodgins in an interview say, "Okay, my first move is gonna be inside. If that don't work, I'm gonna go inside."
He's gonna go a little bit more inside. He's gonna go a little bit. Yeah, Todd Zill's gonna go a little bit more inside. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Scott, what would you say would be your biggest achievement in the sport?
Okay. Now, this is because, to answer this question, I am a Brzenk fan. I am a John Brzenk fan. Why am I a John Brzenk fan? Why is anybody a John Brzenk fan? Because this is the sport I love, and this is the guy that held on to being the best for the longest time and has taught us more than anybody ever will. Even after John's passed away and gone, he will be the one, in my opinion, that taught us more than anything about the sport. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So the John Brzenk Cup is a tournament that happens every year in Salt Lake City, Utah. Bob Brown, his best friend, puts it on every year. I have a lot of first places since I started. I have a lot of second places since I've started. But my biggest achievement is a third place. And my third place was the Brzenk Cup. The Brzenk Cup. And it was last year's Brzenk Cup in November, okay? Pablo, first place. Robert Baxter, second place. Scott Evans, third place. I'm okay with that third place. In that third place where I got a John Brzenk Cup, I got a cup. I got the trophy. That third place meant more to me than a whole bunch of my first and a whole bunch of my second because of what tournament that one is. And the biggest, baddest, strongest arm wrestlers come out of the woodwork to come to that tournament, my friend. And that's a long day of a fight, an arm fight. And so that's my biggest accomplishment in my eyes. I have a lot of other accomplishments arm wrestling, but that's the one for me. I won a lot of super matches. I won a lot of super matches that nobody thought I'd win, and I didn't think I'd win, that meant a lot. But what I just told you, that's the answer.
Well, that's a great story because everybody talks about first places and being champion. And, you know, when you treasure a third place like that because it meant something to you in your heart, you know, and it means something. It has meaning. We have to. It gives meaning to the word. It's great. It's great. I'm a passionate guy. I do things because it's worth doing it. I put passion on it, and that shows passion. On
Yeah.
on your part.
Yeah. And how I judge myself is I look around who's in the winner's circle. Well, you and I know what a winner's circle is. First place, second place, third place. That's a winner's circle. So when I'm standing in winner's circles and I'm looking, like my last winner's circle was Kody Merritt, Jordan Sill, Scott Evans. And before that, Pablo, Robert Baxter, Scott Evans. Those kind of winner circles where those guys have been doing it for 20 to 30 years and I'm a new kid on the block and I'm standing in that circle, I am not sad by any means. I'm just glad to be standing in that winner circle that I placed.
Yeah.
I have goals. Awesome. I have goals, and I have realistic goals that this game doesn't happen overnight for anyone, not even me. It doesn't happen overnight for anyone. But to be where I'm at this fast, I'm not mad.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm all right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you something. I have a bucket list, and one of those points on the bucket list is it's going to the Brzenk Cup at some point.
Yes.
So
yes.
So I'll be there. I'll be there at some time. I'll be there.
Yes. Because just the name, right? Just the title.
Yeah, just the name.
Out of any tournament you hear about worldwide in any country, the John Brzenk Cup, it's all in the title, right? It's all in the title.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. Bro, I've met legends in the sport. I haven't met John in person yet.
You will. You will.
And I have to. I have to meet him in person.
Oh, he would love to meet you. He would love to meet you. You will meet John.
I did a podcast with him, and we agreed that he told me, like, yeah, you can come visit me at my house and we could train and everything, but I haven't been able, and he travels so much, but at some point I know it will happen, and maybe it will happen at the Brzenk Cup.
Well, he was. So the first Brzenk Cup I went to a few years back, he was there. And he did win. Of course he won.
Yeah, obviously. His name is in the brand.
So that kind of stuck with me, that the first one I went to, John Brzenk himself was at the John Brzenk Cup. And then I just kind of took that as, this is my most important tournament for me as an athlete, as a polar. They're all important to me, but that one is kind of sentimental. And I'm so blessed that it's local. For me, it's a local tournament.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I will never miss that tournament. I will do that until my last day.
I wanna ask you, how you seeing, the sport and how it is right now, the sport right now today. How you seeing it? You're seeing it like it's hopeful,
It's so positive right now because there are so many things I'm personally involved with and know about, and the potential right now. So first, let me go back in time and say, we had some stuff. We had WAL. WAL was on television, ESPN. Game of Arms, that was on television. Then we got that thing called COVID or whatever it was, right? And it disappeared. And those TV producers and those people, they didn't pick it back up. But there's a guy I've got to give a shout out to who I'm in his corner. Greg Sharp, World Series of Arm Wrestling, Locked and Loaded on Tubi TV. So that is just the tip of the iceberg. That is just the start, okay? That is just the start. The things that man has, irons in the fire of several different reality TV shows and other things that are gonna push our sport right in the direction we want it to, and it needs to be. Okay. I feel so positive. I feel like if you right now are an arm wrestler and taking it serious, you're in the right place at the right time, because it's about to really go where it should be. It's going back on television. And sooner than later, within the next decade, people will be getting paid again. People will getting contracts again and getting paid again. It might not be a whole bunch of money to start, but it's going to be back to where athletes are getting contracts. Athletes are on television. Kind of will remind you of WAL, kind of remind you of a game of arms and stuff like that, but even better, right? Even better. And there's so much new blood in the sport. You know that there's so many new people coming in. The sport is growing. The sport is growing, and I am a salesman for the sport, so to speak. I'm a missionary for the sport. I'm that guy that every new job and project I go to work on or anywhere I go, I'm telling everybody about arm wrestling. And I'm telling them all of the good news and the positivity, and even inviting them if they might want to come to a practice, or they might just want to come and watch a tournament or a super match. And somebody they might bring with them might go, you know what, I want to try that. And if we can attract a few, that's a win in my book, right? This sport is so beautiful that my addiction to the sport, and the last show I was on, Arm Talk, Jody Williams, I said the same thing. I'm going to say it on your show. My addiction to the sport is the people, the family, the arm wrestling family, the people. I love everybody in this sport. I have met only good people that I have not one bad thing to say about anybody. Nobody. I only have good to say and love to spread that. The friendships that me and my wife continually to pick up new friends as we travel, because we do. We get on the airplane and we travel for the sport. The new friends are the best kind of friends we've ever met, because we share a passion, we share a goal, and we understand one another. And I believe that competition is good for any man and any woman, even if it's not this sport. I just so happen to choose this sport and think it's the best in the world. Yeah. But competition.
I mean, I've been doing it. I've been doing it for over 27 years. You know, I love the sport.
I know you have.
I've done powerlifting. I've done bodybuilding. I've done a lot of things. But the only one that stuck to me that I couldn't left out, I couldn't give it up, was arm wrestling. You know, and I mean, I've been doing it since I was a kid, and I'm in love with it. And even if I wanted to stop, I can't. You know, so it's a great sport.
It's so much of a healthy addiction, and here's why it's healthy. It takes you to focus on, if you're competitive and you want to be good at this sport, relatively good or the best, whatever you want to be, you have to train, you have to exercise, you have to arm wrestle, and cardio is a part of it. People don't understand. When you get on the table and you grip up and you're both ripping right to left and trying to win a match, whether it's practice or a real competition, your heart rate is up, your breathing is up. You can be the little guy that can breathe, or you can be like me, the super heavyweight that can't breathe, walking. And you get on that table, and it's good for me, and it's good for that guy, and it's good for everybody. So the exercise that you have to put in, whether it be emulating and doing Devin Larratt riser lifts, or actually getting on the table and pulling, whatever it might be, it is nothing but positive and good for your psyche, your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health. It is all good. And then I'm getting to talk to people like you who understand me. And also, we both are Christians. We both follow Christ. I know that about you. I've watched all your shows, so I'm comfortable to talk about it. I follow Christ. I am not saying I'm a good man or a good example of a follower of Christ. I'm just saying that I am a follower of Christ, and that you know, I believe in the power. I believe in the power of prayer, and I'm that guy that prays, 12 times a day. I'm praying for everybody around me. I'm praying for my family. I'm praying for my friends, and I'm praying for everybody on this planet, right? And so earlier when I said, because I'm in a competition and I understand that the guy across the table who I'm kind of being mean to for a minute, he's still my brother. I will love him before I get on the table, and I will love him when we get off the table. I will only hate him for 5 seconds, and I think I will be forgiven for that. I'm going to be mean for 5 seconds. Yeah.
It's to me that part is hard. Like, like you, I'm praying for everybody. Everybody, like I'm a guy that's always like paying attention to everything around me. And if I see a friend that is in need, I will reach out and I will pray. I will just reach out and talk, because sometimes you just need someone to talk to,
Yeah.
and help everybody that I can, how I can. And when I arm wrestle, it's like you. I'm not saying I'm a perfect man. I'm just saying
Yeah,
I believe.
I
I'm
know.
perfect. I'm a sinner. I'm a sinner.
I I
It's
respect
the
you.
reality of the world.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
respect you. I respect you. I appreciate you and I understand you. Um, it doesn't matter which religion you are or aren't, or I am or aren't. The mutual ground is Jesus Christ.
yeah, exactly,
And
exactly.
and and I don't care who doesn't believe in that, and I don't care who does believe in that. I believe in that. Okay,
Yeah,
and I know that you do. So I'm not
yes.
turning this show into a religious show. I'm
No, don't
just
worry
saying,
about it. It's a to me, it's a blessing. Every
yeah,
time I have the
it is a
chance
blessing. It
to
is a
speak
blessing.
of Jesus Christ and
Yeah.
to do a prayer and to bless people through this program, it's a
Yes, sir.
blessing. So I don't
Yes,
I don't
sir.
I don't mind, and I don't like
Yeah.
it's a blessing if we can,
And
get,
and I say
these
to ev-
things together.
and I say to everybody, if you don't believe or you don't care, that's okay. That's okay. I love you and it doesn't matter to me, but that's who I am. And I am wanting to share that that's who I am, not push it on you or anybody, just to make it aware that that's who I am.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that I
And
pray and that,
yeah, go ahead.
that I pray and I pray for my opponent across the table that he doesn't get injured and that I don't get injured. And if he put in more work than me and he beats me, he deserves it. Good for him. He's a bad mofo that put in the work. Okay.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
okay. I ain't mad
It's
at that.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I was getting to, like, I'm not a perfect man, and when I was younger, I used to be really proud, and cocky, and I used to be a prick when I was on the table, and I don't want to go
Yeah.
back to that.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back to that. That's why I'm kind of mellow when I go to the table, because I don't want to go back to that, because I don't like it, because I pray for my opponent. I don't pray to God like, please God, don't let me be injured. No, no, I pray for him not to get injured, and
Right.
for
Right.
everything to be okay, and
Right.
everybody be happy. That's what I pray with before I go into a match. And like I said, every time I got the chance to talk about God and Jesus in this show, and how we can relate it to our sport, it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It is a blessing. And that's how I feel that I've been so blessed to be included in this sport, to be exposed to it through a son. I'm hearing with my ears and my heart when a child of mine is bringing something to me, whether it's this or whatever. I'm listening with my heart because it's my child coming to me.
Yeah.
Um, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I look at that as a godsend that I got blessed to have an opportunity to be a part of the sport, because now that I'm in the sport, like you, man, I ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Uh, somebody could bring the drama, bring the haters, bring whatever, and I'm going to smile and say, I'm not going anywhere. So someday you're going to quit hating on me because you're going to get tired because I'm not leaving, you know. And
Yeah.
you do,
I'm laughing. I'm laughing.
you get
I'm laughing
haters.
because of the haters and all that, because that shit
Yeah,
is real.
yeah, yeah. I have some haters already.
Yeah.
Already, I have some haters, and I love them, and I don't hate them. I don't. I
Dude,
love
I
them,
pray
and
for them. I pray
yes,
for them. Like when my son has soccer practice Tuesday, Mondays and Wednesdays, and while he's doing soccer, I'm just doing cardio, you know. And what I do is I listen to prayer on my headset, and I pray for my haters,
yeah,
or I pray for everybody, but I do take time to pray for my haters. You know what I'm saying? I
you
pray
have
for them,
to.
and I'm gonna tell you this: if 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 you're getting hate, or you got haters, that means you're doing something good. And you know who said that to me?
Who?
Devin Larratt.
Yeah, yeah, because
He
Devin.
told me, if there's haters, you must be doing something good. And I was like, oh, okay.
And the thing about that is you'll have thousands of fans and you'll only have a handful of haters. And because you're a human being, those haters will get to you if you let them.
Yeah.
And you'll focus.
Yeah.
You'll
But
focus on
we pray for them. We pray for them. We pray hard for them.
We pray for them.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you something, Scott, about the Robert Baxter thing with Engin. They just got into business together. How is that gonna look? Do you got any information? Do you know anything about it?
I am only going to speak on my speculation, being a friend of Robert's.
Okay.
So, what people may or may not know about Robert Baxter is he is a very good businessman. He's a
I
very
didn't know that, you know.
he's a very wealthy man. So he owns a branch of restaurants called Five Guys Burgers.
Okay.
He owns them throughout the country of Canada, even though he's based out of America. And there are a bunch of those in America. He owns all of the branches in Canada. He owns a pizza company too. I can't recall the name of that, but he owns Five Guys Burgers. And so he is a very successful businessman, and he's always been a close friend of Engin's for about 30 years.
Okay.
So it is fitting. A lot of people don't know this about Robert, that he is a successful businessman, but they're about to find out. And so I see nothing but positive. So earlier when I was giving a shout out to Greg for what he's doing, now that you brought this up, let's give a shout out to Robert Baxter and Engin Tierney for what they're doing. So Engin is seeing something happen, right? He's seeing when he experiments with East versus West on U.S. soil, how good it does and how much feedback he gets and everything like that, that, you know, let's partner up the West with the East, literally. And let's do some more on the United States soil, and it will do just as good, if not better, than it does on the East. So,
And
you know, Engin's smart, Robert's smart, and there's nothing going to be bad out of any of this. It's all going to be positive, good, and it is going to help every arm wrestler, no matter what level you are, whether you're elite, in the middle, whatever level you're at. If you're serious about sport, you want to compete and you want to get noticed, these guys are going to give you that opportunity. If you can go out and train hard, if you can train hard enough that when there's a qualifier, you can at least qualify, you're going to make it on the big stage. These guys are going to make that opportunity for everyone.
That's good to hear. And I didn't know Robert was a very successful businessman. I didn't know that, you know. That's why I'm asking.
He's very humble. He's very humble. He doesn't go around bragging about his money or his clout or his status or his businesses. So I will do it for him. The man is very successful, and common sense would tell people there's a reason why Engin chose the man.
Yeah, I see now. I see, and it's great. It's great for the sport. Everything that it's good for the sport. It lifts all of us up at the same time. You know, there's this. The world is a really big place, and there's space for everybody to do their thing. And we're growing, and that's what we wanted. That's what we wanted, the sport to grow, and it's happening.
It's happening. It's manifesting. The blessings are being unraveled. And now more than ever is the right time if you want to be a part of it. Right now, I'm saying over the next 5 to 10 years, people will be amazed in the direction this sport is going to go. I'm gonna say it's going to be like UFC. I think it's going to be like UFC. I think it's going to be on that level, and I think that the top athletes are going to see some handsome contracts financially.
You know, I have the same opinion. I think it's heading in that direction. That UFC thing that's going on, I think it's getting to that direction, and it fits. You know, it fits it fits the sport, because I learned this from my Chilean friend Claudio Munoz. Arm wrestling is a non-violent combat sport.
Right.
You know, So
No, I'm
being
kind
kind
of
of a UFC thing is good.
I'm kind of violent for a minute. I'm kind of violent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of have a violent talk roll, but it only lasts for seconds.
Yeah, but it lasts, long enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Scott, what's the future have for you? What plans do you have for the future right now? Got super matches lined up, tournaments. What do you got
Yeah,
coming?
yeah. So I'll give you the upcoming November 2nd. November 2nd, I'm flying out with my wife, Melanie Evans. We're going to San Diego, Coronado Beach
Okay.
for the finals World Series of Arm Wrestling. Those
Yeah, I heard
those
of
guys
that.
those guys pay up to eighth place. They put money out up to eighth place. So we're gonna go. I qualified to go out there. We participated when they were here in Utah at the Ogden, and we're gonna fly out there November 2nd. Then right when we get back, we're gonna turn around November 16th and go to the Brzenk Cup. And then after that, I'm going to focus on preparing myself to battle Wayne Withers February 15th.
February.
That'll be the Utah State Championship. I'm thinking I'm still going to enter the tournament, but let's see how bad I get beat up in the super match before the tournament.
You'll do
Right.
good. You'll do good. I have confidence in
So,
you. You'll do good.
so everybody in this game knows and respects Wayne Withers because you name the best in the world, he's beat them once or twice. Wayne
Yes.
Withers has pinned every big name. Wayne Withers has pinned them. And I love a high level competition, even if I come out not winning, which I'm walking in with the mindset, I'm gonna win. That's always gonna be my mindset. I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna win. I have to have that law of attraction, right? I have to manifest that.
Yeah.
But even if I'm wrong, and even if I don't, the guy's going to know I came to fight. He's not going to just take me to the pin pad. I promise the world that it will be entertaining with entertainment value.
Well, I'll be cheering for you to win, and I like Wayne. I like him, but
Yeah.
you're my man. You're my guy. You're my guy. I'll be cheering
Thank
for
you.
you to beat Wayne.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I
So I
appreciate
wanted
it.
to share with you that I still have this romantic mentality of
Yeah.
arm wrestling making it to the Olympics, and
Yeah.
and I still believe within the next 10 years we'll be on that, and if we get all these things together, the World Series of Arm Wrestling, the East versus West thing getting to be like the UFC type, mainstream stuff, and the sport gets into the Olympics, I could die a happy man right there,
I I agree with you. If they have break dancing right now in the Olympics, they sure as heck better get arm wrestling.
Yeah. And
I mean,
I had a meeting with the president of the Olympic Committee from here from Puerto Rico, just to
oh
talk to her
really?
about, yeah, just to talk to her about the sport of arm wrestling and the organization that I'm handling, Team Puerto Rico Arm Wrestling, which is recognized by the NAAF and the WAF, and it's aimed to have so Puerto Rico can have a representation at the Olympics if arm wrestling has a chance to get on the Olympics, and for Puerto Rico to start, being competitive at their international level, competing against other countries, and I learned a lot from that conversation with the president of the Olympic Committee of Puerto Rico about how the Olympics work and everything. And I was talking to her, and actually she told me, like, if the Olympics are going to be let's say in this country, and in this country they like arm wrestling, and that country wanted to have arm wrestling in the Olympics, they could do that because the International Olympic Committee allows it.
Right.
And actually in the Olympic Pan American Games on 2027 they're going to be on Lima, Peru, they're going to have arm wrestling there because
Oh
Peru
wow.
has a solid arm wrestling community and organization. on the wall.
Right.
You know, and Peru is gonna have the arm wrestling at the Pan American Games, and actually at the Olympics and the 2028 Olympics, the Para Olympics, the Olympics for the people with disabilities that happens the next week after the Olympics. Arm wrestling is going to be an event on that, and hopefully by 2032, arm wrestling would be an official Olympic sport. So we're just moving in the right direction with everything that's going on with the World Wrestling, Arm Wrestling, with East West, with Knuckles All, with all those guys. We are moving in the right direction, and within 10 years, we are gonna make it, you know, to be a mainstream sport and even bigger, because I don't think there's a sport that is mainstream and has like the big three. Like, it's mainstream, it has leagues, and it's in the Olympics. There's no many sports that can say that, and I think arm wrestling will be able to say that within 10 years.
I agree with you. I totally can feel it in my bones, so to speak. I can just see the writing on the wall. This sport deserves its place where it is going, and it's getting there, and it's going to be there. Like I said earlier in this show, we had a lot of good things going just before COVID. We were going on that way, and then that COVID put a pause on things, and now people see the potential to pick it back up, and those people that are smart or and have the capability and the resources, they're picking it up.
Yeah,
they're picking it up. And they can see that so many people are rapidly, whether they're competing or not, there's so many more fans now. There's so many more people watching, and they're watching the entertaining videos. Not every arm wrestling competitor or video is entertaining, but there are a lot that are. And so I watch the ones that are, you watch the ones that are, and we're going to get more fans if we're a little fun, outgoing, talkative, really aggressive on the table and mean for a minute, the things people want to watch, you know, like Matt Mask get a little nuts. That's kind of how I am. And I don't talk smack per se, but I'm super aggressive on the table for just a minute, and then I'll hug you right after. But I think that's entertainment value that people would rather watch. That's what I'd rather watch, is that little bit of weird, crazy, aggressive adrenaline rush than just I won, I lost. I want to see I want to see a little fun. I want to see a little aggression.
Exactly. And we're getting to that.
Yeah. So I agree with you, and I'm glad to hear your perspective, that you're thinking the same as me, that we're about to see big things happen for this sport and the seasoned athletes that deserve a little money and a little bit of spotlight.
Yeah. So, Scott, I want to thank you, for accepting the invitation and being with me, having this great conversation that we just had. I want to thank you for that. I want to ask people that watch this show to share it so people can know Scott a little bit, deeper and more about him. See how nice guy he is. He's not always angry like he's on the table. He's a really nice guy.
Not always mean. Yeah.
So follow Scott on Instagram and on Facebook. Look it up just like that, Scott Evans, and give him some love,
YouTube channel. The thing I like
YouTube
to sell
channel.
the most, Scott Evans Arm Wrestling. Subscribe. It's free to subscribe, and it's positive for me. And I promise you, there are some entertaining videos, especially in the shorts. If you go to my channel, Scott Evans Arm Wrestling YouTube, go to the shorts. That's where the entertaining videos are. If you like it, subscribe. But I'm the grateful one here, buddy. I'm grateful and honored that you thought of me and that you invited me on such a prestigious show. I've seen the caliber of pullers on your show. I'm a fan of your show. So that you reached out to me and invited me is a gigantic honor. I won't be shy to say, what an honor. Thank you so much, my friend.
You just humbled me, because I didn't think it was that good or that big. But I just try to I just try to
I promise.
do good content so people can know each arm wrestler, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And there's always a story behind everybody, you know, and that's what make any match more interesting, you know,
yeah,
like your story, like how
yeah.
you work, how you train, you know.
Who is that athlete? Who are they, and what are they doing? And what is
Yeah,
making them good or not so good? What is the behind the scenes behind the level they are or aren't? What is going on to
exactly,
equal that, right?
exactly,
Yep.
exactly. And
Mr.
I try to give the ladies some love, you know, try to get the girls on the show so people and all the girls can see them, you know, what they
Yeah.
do and how they do it, you know, to motivate them. And and the I'm trying to concentrate in growing the youth part of the community,
Yeah.
the people with disabilities part of the community, and you know, and I know the doing it with the girls, it's easy because we get it on the show and we talk, you know, but you know,
Yeah.
I know a world champion that his name is Josh Heck from, I think he's from Utah.
He
He's deaf.
is. So he used to live in Washington.
Yeah,
I have arm wrestled him plenty of times. If you go on my YouTube channel, you will see
I
me
know,
pulling.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm been, I want him to have him on the show, but I'm like, okay, how can I
Yeah.
do it? You know?
Maybe you can get a translator for he does sign language. Maybe you can get a
Yeah.
translator for sign language because he's
I've
an
been even
awesome
thinking doing a podcast kind of interview, texting, and then have it like read it and do a
yeah,
video reading it and captions
yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah,
Because I want to have him on the show, but I haven't figured it out. You
yeah,
know, you
yeah.
know.
He's so
So
strong. So I'm a guy that can testify about his strength. He
I
is as
pulled him.
strong.
I pulled him.
I have to tell you,
I know. I
he's
know.
as strong as an ox. He's as strong as
Yeah,
an ox.
he's strong. You know, he's strong. He's
Yeah.
strong. You know, I pulled him when I was at Brandon Allen's house in
Uh-huh.
Vegas a year back. He was there, and I pulled him, and
Oh, yeah, you
he was
were there. Yeah.
so he's strong. I know he's strong. You know, so Scott, thank you again for being here. I don't want to take too much of your time. You know, I know you're just getting home from work and everything. Uh,
Yeah.
I wish I could have you back on the show, maybe with Greg Sharp. You know, and talk about the World Series of Arm Wrestling and everything. You know, it
I
would be
think
great.
I think that Greg would go for that. I'll talk to him. I think Greg would go for that.
Yeah,
So
and just reach out to me and tell me what he thinks about, and we can talk about everything that he's doing and everything that's coming and his plans and everything and his vision for the sport and on the way that he's doing things. And
absolutely. Yes, sir.
thank you, man. Thank you. I'm the one that's honored that a man which who has in a short time such a rich history in the sport, you know, with the people that you train, the people you have
Yeah.
met, and your achievements. I'm honored to have had you today here on the show. So thank you.
You're so welcome and thank you so much, my friend.
Well, so everybody that tuned in, that made it to this part of the show, I repeat, share, like, subscribe the video so people can know more about Scott. Subscribe to Scott Evans Arm Wrestling in YouTube. Follow him on Facebook and Instagram. And everybody have a great night and see you next Monday at the same time in Probando Fuerza. Take care, everyone. God bless you.
Hasta luego.